Well, hello there and welcome to Travels with Geordie. If this is your first visit, my name is Peter Knowles and I live on an old wooden motor cruiser in Victoria, British Columbia. And yet again, no, it's not this one because we're currently cruising in the Southern Gulf Islands, British Columbia, aboard my friend's boat, MV Zephyrus. So, what have we been up to? We've been up to? Well, again, I have to admit I'm messing with the timeline because you're joining the cruise a couple of weeks after the video you're about to watch. Well, here we are in Ladysmith Community Marina, a lovely place, and we've been met up by my good friend aboard MV Lueda. These people have just an absolutely gorgeous boat, and we're having a lovely time here. So let's jump back in time and try to catch up. Well, and good morning. I don't know if you can hear me. We just left Vector Marine Services in Sidney, and so this is our maiden day out. We spent the night on the dock there to make sure that the pumps could keep up with the open seams as she started to swell up a bit, and that's gone really well. So we're just passing the Swartz Bay ferry terminal, which is the ferry terminal that serves Victoria, right at the top of Saanich Peninsula, and we're heading up into towards Cowichan Bay, which is where we're going to spend the night tonight with some friends. Thanks so much. The Cowichan Bay Maritime Center is run by the Cowichan Bay Wooden Boat Society, and it's a really spectacular spot right in the middle of this gorgeous little village. Anyway, they're a real outreach to the community in that they do courses and classes, and they involve young people in wooden boats and boating in general. I really just love the place, and unfortunately with COVID, they really haven't been able to do much this year, although they hosted us for a couple of days, and we were very grateful for that. So if you have any opportunity to drop by the Cowichan Bay Maritime Center and have a look around and possibly support them on some of their campaigns, that would be really fantastic. At Cowichan Bay, we joined up with the Classic Yacht Association summer cruise, and a few beautiful vessels went around a few harbors over the next few days, and our next stop was Poets Cove on South Pender Island. So we're just leaving Poets Cove Marina and Resort, and we're going to join a flotilla of a few of these classics up through the Pender Canal, which is kind of cute. It's a little narrow gap between the two Pender Islands, and should be pretty. So we thought we'd go up first and sit in the pool past the bridge and film everyone coming through. What's that? I can't find the drone here. I looked it up. Damn it. As any boater, I have an appreciation for the open ocean, but I also just love weaving my way through a winding waterway between the trees and land. There's just something about the adventure of the new view at every turn. Anyway, I'm just like that. right then, well, we've just come through the Pender Canal. This is the northern entrance, and we've just dropped the hook in this little back eddy here where we can sit and wait for the remaining boats to come through. Should be nice to get a shot of them coming through underneath the bridge. Well, this is what I call gorgeous. We're in Annette Inlet on Prevost Island, just south of Salt Spring Island in the southern Gulf Islands, British Columbia, and just a perfect evening. About to put the steak on the barbecue. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than this. Night. Well, this worked out pretty neat. We spent the night at anchor over on that side of the cove, but there's this little old kind of floating clubhouse float home here, which apparently we have use of. A friend of mine said, no, well, you're welcome to it. We didn't spend the night here, but it is perfectly situated for us to be able to pull out the entire length of anchor chain right out onto this dock here and put some proper colored zip ties on so we can tell how much chain is going on. Now, we've done this in the past, but all we have is maybe one at 50 and maybe a few feet before the end. But what we really need is some big red zip ties with 5 feet, 10 feet to go. So that's it, this morning's project. And could there be a better place to do this? All right, how fun, eh? Really? All right, so let her rip. $20, $40, $60. $80. Okay, so here's the logic. We've put colors every 20 feet, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, but at 90 feet, we have a warning set of tags, and being halfway between 90 and 100, it's the two colors of 90 and 100. The nice thing about it is that this is probably only 97, because we don't have 10-foot lengths exactly, so it gives us 3, 4, almost 5 feet of chain actually, so that when the 100-foot marker comes to say even here, there's plenty of chain on the gypsy still, because I can tell you when this rope comes onto this gypsy, it just flies. So that's not nice. It does mean we can manage it if we ever do need the rope for extended road. We just have to handle it differently and move it over onto the drum. Even though it is a combination gypsy, it just doesn't work reliably. Okay, let's put it all back in. The owner has very wisely suggested that this is a good opportunity to take out all the road as well and check its condition, check the bitter end, which is where it's attached to the boat, and have a look in the chain locker. Some of the original tags are still in here, woven right in, 120 feet. Well, that's fine, we'll just leave these. 220. Oh, so there's more than 100 feet of road, which is nice. The road is in lovely shape. 300, and it's still coming. This is definitely a Pacific Northwest anchor road. 340 feet. Perfect for Desolation Sound. All right, well, it went down into the chain locker. Actually, the owner did first and said, there's tons more rope in here, Peter. It was just jammed. We pulled out a total of 600 feet of absolutely brilliant, beautiful, dry rope. The chain locker, mostly rope locker. 400 feet of rope, 100 feet of chain. 500 feet of rope, 100 feet of chain. Dry as a bone. What a tidy little locker. We'll vacuum it out a little bit and flake this all back in there. So with 500 feet, 600 feet at 4 to 1, you can anchor in some pretty deep water. Yeah.
And here we go. This is the very first time I've flown my brand new drone. The brand new drone I bought almost exactly a year ago on the road trip with my daughter, and for one reason or another I haven't had a chance to fly until now. The bulk of the reasons are, in Canada you now need a license to fly a drone, and it took me a little while to get geared up to do that. But over the winter I successfully passed my drone license test, which is not insignificant, I can tell you. After that you have to register your drone and put the registration sticker on the drone, and after that you have to be able to find a place that it's legal to fly. And with full disclosure, this flight is illegal because I'm too close to a person, a boat, a shape or thing. But nonetheless, I figured I was relatively safe here in general circumstances, and you've all got to watch my first test flight. Fun, eh?
All right, well, I just flaked 500 feet of rope back in the chain locker. I don't know where the chain's gonna go, but in she goes.
From Annette Cove, we steam north to rejoin the Classic Yacht Association crew at Montague Harbor, normally a very popular summer cruising destination, but eerily quiet with the absence of American boats.
A raft up with Bianca, the Chris Craft here. We're a little bit longer than she is, but I think we'll manage. From the fuel dock in Montague Harbor where we spent the night, and off to Wallace Island. You're gonna love Wallace Island, it's awesome.
Somehow it seems my documentation of our overnight stay at Montague Harbor is a little lacking. Sorry about that.
Alright then, we're just coming into Princess Inlet on Wallace Island. Really, really pretty little spot. Works. I don't know if you can see it along that shore there. There are chains coming down on the rock, and that's for a stern tie. So basically we're going to drop the anchor out here in the middle of the channel and then pull the stern in up against there. So I'm going to wait till I'm completely abreast of that chain right there. You probably can't see it. Now I'll stop the boat and we'll drop the anchor. So I'm now going to send the stern towards the shore to set the anchor and to get a little closer for the dinghy ride, and I'll set up a little upwind so that as I take the line up to the chain in the dinghy it won't get too much drift. Griffin doesn't like anything to do with boats. Alright, this is the setting run. Won't go too fast. And I'll be able to feel as the chain bites in. And that's it. Let's go do the stern line.
All right then, so this is pretty self-explanatory. The idea is the boat is tied between an anchor in the middle of the cove and a chain which is attached to the shore. There's a bunch of advantages to that. Largely it's to increase density because of course you don't swing on an anchor when you're tied to the shore. The other advantage is of course that the anchor spends the entire time only pulling in one direction, so when wind and tide change there's no risk of dragging it because it doesn't set when it turns. Anyway, it's just a really neat thing, and I don't know how common it is in the rest of the world, but it's pretty much standard around here.
We're stern tied, as you saw in Princess Inlet on Wallace Island, and we've been joined by our very good friends, Maurizio and Cecilia. Say hi, Maurizio!
Hi!
And he's going to take me out, and we're going to put down a prawn trap. I've never done this before, we're really looking forward to it. So, yeah, what a classy dinghy, eh? Okay, let's go, let's go! We opted for 2 dinghies because I'm a little overweight for that little boat. See if I can catch up with them. Isn't this a gorgeous spot? The benefit of expertise. I've never done this.
After having set the prawn trap, Maurizio set about collecting oysters. There were endless oysters.
All right.
Being generally an urban person, oysters were overall a buck a shuck at the local pub. But these barbecued oysters, well, that's another thing altogether. Just delicious. And then, in the golden hour, we went back for the prawn trap.
No prawn. 1 prawn.
No.
3 prawns. 3 prawns. You serious?
3 is better than none.
And 1 really weird fish.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that means pizza, right?
Oh, it's a sculpin.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a fish that you don't want to eat. It's a very bony, very...
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we figured that we're not going to eat it. It's off? That doesn't work.
Hello there and welcome to the Travels with Geordie Beer of the Week. We are still in the Ladysmith Community Marina, which is an extraordinary spot. Really, really beautiful marina. However, we've been moved over to a slip for our last night here because a large contingent of motor cruisers came in for a rendezvous and there was no more room at the guest dock. Anyway, so, but it's still pretty nice place, there's no doubt about it. So, beer this week is from category 12, Juicy Data IPA. I really don't know where they're starting to come up with these names, but it's perfectly good. And I admit, I've already had a couple of these and they're not bad. They're a hazy, and I had my friend from MV one of them, Owen, who is British, and I gave him a little of this the other night, or I proposed to, and he was a bit unkind to hazy beers, pointing out that they're simply incomplete. And in Britain, the bartender would have taken it back saying, "Sorry sir, let me pour you a real beer." But anyway, I actually like hazies. Sorry Owen. Cheers. Let's see. Yeah, I do. So it just shows what sort of beer aficionado I am not. Anyway, so Not much more to say for this week. We're heading out again tomorrow, finally heading north, having caught up on most of our work. So you need a word of the week, and I'm gonna have to say, despite this beautiful Hans Christian right here, which is one of my favorite fiberglass boats, the word of the week this week will have to be fiberglass. Put the word fiberglass in a comment down below and I'll pick it right. You know how it goes. Cheers.